In Glasgow, Scotland, on August 23, 2000, Cameron Macauley was born into an ordinary family. But from the age of 2, this child would demonstrate anything but ordinary behaviour, speaking persistently about another life, another family, and another home on a remote Scottish island that neither he nor his family had ever visited. Cameron was just 2 years old, living with his mother Norma and his 6-year-old brother Martin in Glasgow. At this young age, Cameron began making statements that seemed to connect him to a past life on Barra, an island among the Outer Hebrides off the west coast of Scotland, home to little over 1,000 people. Despite having no family connections to this distant place, Cameron spoke of it with the certainty of having lived there. By age 3, his references to Barra became a daily occurrence. In nursery school, Cameron would insistently declare, "I want to go to Barra with my other family." The persistence of these claims caught the attention of those around him. Family friend Diane Miller would later observe that Cameron was adamant about his memories, saying them over and over, so you knew he wasn't just making it up there and then. His uncle Ian Watson noted that over 3 years, Cameron never wavered in his accounts, and if you look at his face, you can tell he believes they're true. Cameron's memories were remarkably specific. He told his mother that his father's name had been Shane Robertson, though his uncle also recalled him referring to his father as Sean or Shane. With striking clarity, Cameron described how his father had died. He had stepped onto a roadway and was fatally struck by a car that Cameron remembered as either green and silver or greenish silver. When his mother Norma asked if they would see his Barra dad, Cameron matter-of-factly replied, "No." When pressed why not, he simply stated, "Because he's dead." Later he would change a detail about the car, describing it as blue and green, and characterise his father as having black spiky hair and wearing shorts. The boy's descriptions of his Barra family were equally detailed. His Barra mother, he said, had long brown hair that she later cut short. He claimed to have had 3 brothers and 3 sisters, one of whom was named Lindsay. Together they would play tag and enjoy the company of a black dog with white hair on its chest, as well as an orange cat. Cameron described their home as a white house, much bigger than his current Glasgow residence, with multiple toilets, he would later specify 3, and large stacks of boxes placed outside. When interviewed, he clarified that these boxes contained water and fish. Cameron's memories painted a vivid picture of island life. He recalled swimming in rock pools, playing with friends on the beach, and sometimes going on holiday with his family. He remembered picking apples and playing with friends in the front garden, while being careful to stay away from crabs on the beach to avoid being nipped. The house, he said, was 1 story, and he could see the beach when he looked out the window, sometimes watching his brothers and sisters play there by themselves. He mentioned that the girls slept in one room and the boys in another. One particularly specific memory involved using a black phone, which Cameron would mime dialing, suggesting it was a dial phone rather than a modern push-button model. Most remarkably, he insisted that planes landed on the beach at Barra, a claim that would later to be one of his most verifiable statements. Cameron described no memories of adulthood, apparently remembering being a boy only slightly older than his current age. Nor did he ever mention dying in his previous life. Instead, he spoke of falling through a hole somehow connected with the White House and coming into Norma's tummy. As he put it, "I was in Barra and now I'm here." He would later add that at age 4 he had fallen out of bed and through the hole leading to his current mother. The emotional impact of these memories on young Cameron was profound. Unlike many children with past life memories who were hesitant to discuss them, Cameron told them to anyone who would listen. But this openness came with a cost. He began to miss his Barra mother so intensely that he would cry and ask for her instead of Norma to pick him up from nursery school. In moments of distress, he would plead, "I have to go to Barra. I have to go to Barra. My family are missing me." Cameron's persistent claims eventually caught the attention of a TV production company planning to make a documentary about reincarnation. In late 2005 or early 2006, they contacted the Division of Perceptual Studies at the University of Virginia, where the pioneer of reincarnation studies, Ian Stevenson, was based. Stevenson's colleague, Jim B. Tucker, agreed to participate in the investigation. The production company had advertised for reincarnation cases in Scotland and was contacted by Norma Macauley. A producer carefully interviewed the boy, then aged 5, documenting his memories. Tucker subsequently flew to Glasgow to meet Cameron and his family before travelling together with a camera crew to Barra. The journey to Barra provided immediate validation of at least one of Cameron's claims. As this small plane descended toward the island, it became clear they would be landing directly on the beach, exactly as Cameron had described. The Barra Airport Authority confirmed this was the only beach in the world used as a runway for scheduled flights. "I told you it was true," Cameron declared triumphantly as they touched down on the sand. Once on the island, the investigation team consulted with Callum McNeil, a local historian. Based on Cameron's description of the dial foam and the house having 3 toilets, McNeil placed the past life in the 1960s at the earliest. However, initial searches proved frustrating. McNeil knew of no one who had died as Cameron described on Barra, and local records indicated there had been only one man named Robertson on the island in the 1930s, plus a Robertson family that had arrived too recently to match Cameron's timeline. The breakthrough came when McNeil checked more carefully and discovered that a Robertson family from the mainland had vacationed on Barra in the 1960s and 70s, owning a house at the northern end of the island. Crucially, this location provided a view of planes landing on the beach, just as Cameron had described. When the team approached the now unoccupied house, Cameron's reaction was immediate. He recognised it, and the layout seemed familiar to him. Moving through the house with confidence, he easily found all 3 bathrooms and commented on features that had changed since his memories. His mood shifted dramatically during this visit. He became subdued and clearly sad, saying he missed his Barra mother. The validation of his memories seemed both satisfying and painful. The producers continued their investigation after Tucker returned to the USA, managing to contact Gillian Robertson, a member of the Robertson family. She confirmed the existence of the black and white dog, showing a photograph of it to the documentary crew. She also showed an album containing pictures of a big black car, verifying another of Cameron's memories. However, she knew of no man in the family who had been hit by a car and no child who had died young. Throughout the investigation, Cameron's case was examined from multiple perspectives. Educational psychologist Karen Majors distinguished Cameron's experiences from typical childhood imaginary play, noting that with imaginary play, children are aware it is pretend and have control over it, whereas Cameron, quote, sounds like he does not direct what's going on there at all. Chris French, editor of The Skeptic magazine, offered an alternative explanation to Norma, suggesting that Cameron's utterances most likely reflected false memories, drawn from his imagination, possibly inspired by TV, the internet, or family stories about Barra. Norma countered this theory by pointing out that Cameron and Martin were raised almost as twins, exposed to the same sources of information, yet only Cameron spoke of a past life. The case attracted further investigation in 2007 when survival after death researcher and writer Tricia Robertson was asked by the Society for Psychical Research to conduct additional research. Accompanied by Archie Roy, she interviewed the Macauley family and associates, video recording and date stamping all interviews. Robertson noted Cameron's repeated statement, "I was part of the family," suggesting he might have been considered or treated as family rather than being an actual member. Jim B. Tucker, who documented the case in his 2013 book Return to Life, Extraordinary Cases of Children Who Remember Past Lives, maintains that this is a genuine case of past life memories. He notes that for Cameron himself, the memories are absolutely real and emotionally affecting. Tucker points out that psychological testing shows children claiming past life memories generally are not unusually fantasy-prone or suggestible. Several interpretations have been offered for the unresolved aspects of the case. Tucker was contacted by people who noted that in Gaelic, Sean means old, suggesting Cameron's past life father might have been addressed as Sean or Shane, even if that wasn't his real name. Tucker also wonders whether the team should have searched harder for a man fatally struck by a car, noting that the historian McNeill was less familiar with the northern part of the island. Another possibility Tucker raises is that Cameron might have mixed memories from two past lives, resulting in the inconsistencies. The visit to Barra ultimately proved therapeutic for Cameron. After seeing the house and having his memories validated, he became calmer about them, apparently relieved to have had the opportunity to confirm what he had always known to be true. The documentary capturing his journey, titled The Boy Who Lived Before, was broadcast on September 18, 2006 on Channel 5 as part of the series Extraordinary People. Today, the case of Cameron Macauley remains one of the most documented and intriguing examples of claimed past life memories in children. While the identity of Shane Robertson and the circumstances of his death remain unverified, the accuracy of many of Cameron's statements about Barra, from the plane's landing on the beach to the Robertson family's white house with 3 bathrooms, continues to challenge so-called natural explanations. For those who knew Cameron during this period, including his mother Norma, his conviction and consistency over years of retelling left no doubt that, for him at least, these memories were as real as any from his current life in Glasgow.